What is good, people? Welcome back to another video. Now in today's video we're going to be doing our first modification. We've owned the car now for about a week or so and we feel like it's time to start getting some stuff done. In the last video you would have saw we just picked up a Mark 2 Golf. As soon as we bought it we sent it straight to the MOT shop. It failed on a couple of items, and then in that video we started to do some repairs, sent it back for its MOT again, and it's now fully road legal. So now we can start doing a little bit of mechanical work and a little bit of fun stuff. So that's what we're going to do in today's video. This car needs lowering, so that's what we're doing first. So the fronts I'm pretty happy with, as you can tell where they are. It's not too bad. It obviously wants lowering a little bit more. Problem with it is because I haven't got the wheels yet, I feel like just leaving it where it is and just getting the rears to suit. Just done some measurements. The front arch gap is about 30mm and the rear we're getting about 50mm, so we know we need to match the fronts with the rears, get myself 20mm on the back. I'm not too fussed about dialing the fitment now because we're on 14s and these are not the final wheels and not the final size. There's no point on trying to dial it in and then when I get my other wheels I've got to then readjust it again. So I'm just happy to leave it how it is. You know, I haven't got to be slammed on the floor. It's just to kind of sort that mess out because it looks like it's like a drag car. So the wheel has now been stripped off, and as you can see we have got some nice fresh Stance Plus coilovers. Let's show you down here. There we go. They don't look like they're seized and they don't look like they're going to give me too many problems, so I'm hoping it's going to be okay. We now know the fronts had 30mm gap, the rears had 50, so what we're going to do is locate our tape measure, measure 30mm or 20mm from the top ring, and then spin it all the way down until we get 20mm, lock it off, and then that would have lowered the car by 20mm. Simple as that. Okay, so this is this side now done. What I found is, so the lower we go, the less tension is on the spring because it's going down, and that means now it's a bit loose, which it's not too bad because when the weight's on it it's okay, but I don't like it still. Imagine going, you know, even more, the spring's just going to be banging around inside. It won't make no sense. So what we're going to do, probably when we go to properly dial in the fitment on the car, we'll probably get some proper coilovers, maybe not some expensive ones but not cheap ones that can give us the adjustment but can also not bang around in the spring. My hopes for this is to probably get some bags for it, but that's kind of later on in the project. As you know, they're very expensive. Now the right side is done, we're just gonna clean everything up, make sure there's not excessive grease. It seemed to be, the coilovers are quite clean, they look reasonably new and they weren't seized at all. They just kind of want a good clean up. So yeah, we're going to crack on with the other side and maybe take it out for a test drive. That is the first thing ticked off, the very first modification we'll say. I know the coilovers were already on it, but we dropped it a little bit more. If anybody's got any suggestions for some coilovers, when you go quite low the spring doesn't go loose. I don't think these, I think they're supposed to be like that. I have seen people run springs where they bang around and stuff, but I'd rather not. I'd rather spend a little bit more cash and do it properly, because I'll know one day I'll jack it up and I'll completely forget about it. It won't be sat right. And you know, I don't want that. It just seems a bit sketch to me. We have now lowered the rears. The fronts, if we double check again, it says just under 30 mil. The garage is not perfectly straight. At the front it's quite high, so I think it's brought the front down and the rear up. But either way, I'm pretty much happy. I've leveled the suspension out. It doesn't look stancy, it doesn't look how I want it to look, but for now, just to get it driving around, just to get it looking half decent, that's why we lowered it. I think what we're going to do now is take it out for its first proper drive. We're going to go to the post office. We have a very nice part that's currently waiting for us, so we're going to go pick that up, and then we're going to be doing some other bits. So guys, make sure you stay tuned, and hopefully you're enjoying this build series. It's only going to get better from now. Do you think I made the right decision? Do you think I should have kept the Mark III? Do you think I should have stuck with this? Let me know.
We got a Mark 2 Golf. This thing is so slow, but it's so fun. Yeah, so the last Mark 2 I was in was the Jetta. Now that car was pretty special. It was a pretty special car, but things happen. I'm not gonna get involved. I'm not gonna get into it in this video, but let's just say the potential this has, it has the potential to be as good as that, if not better, because I'll be doing all of the work. That car I'd bought pretty much done as like a show car, but this one's going to be kind of built up from the ground up. Now we've done the reveal video, I can actually post in the pages and ask for some help. The problem is I've been holding in the secret because I want everyone to be surprised for the reveal, but it means I can't post and ask for help, because obviously the sunroof is opening halfway. There's little bits and bobs that I need, but now we can ask for help. Hey, he's a camper man! Look at that beauty. No knocks and bangs. It drives like a 1991 Volkswagen. I mean, I don't know what you're expecting. It's been off the road for 10 years almost. The last MOT it had was October 2014. Had 10,000 miles put on since, so it's obviously done 10,000 miles within 2014, and then it's just been popped up and sat ever since. Oh my god, it's a split screen. Let's go catch up with it. Just need a bit of rag. This is fun.
The car has now been lowered on the back. If I'm honest, it could do with getting dropped a tiny bit more. Well, actually, from this angle, that's not too bad actually. Well, either way, we've dropped the back to kind of suit the fronts, and it just looks a little less crappy. What do we think? I know I could do with getting a bit lower, but for now, let's just be grateful with what we've got. Right people, the drone sadly is just having a fit. But in other news, we have a new part. Now I want you to guess in the comments before we reveal what it is. What do you think it is? I'll give you a clue. It's sort of this run. That's all I'm gonna say. Right, let's head back home. We'll get some parts fitted and we'll continue the vlog. I think I want to do the engine swap now. I think going from a Mark III that had electric everything to this is a bit of a shock to the system. Don't regret buying it. Just drives very, 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 very old. But we move. Everything's good. Coolant level's still good. Doesn't look like it's boiled over or anything, which is a good sign. And it did run pretty well going around town and stuff. It is quite hot outside as well. Sat in traffic for a little bit. So yeah, it's a decent runner, but you don't want to see me talking crap. We're going to get this car taken out of the car. Any last minute guesses? We have bought ourselves a heck blend. So, when we was drawing up plans, when we was drawing up plans for the back end of this car, one of the chaps who I'd sold some parts to, he had a set of all blue Hella Clears. How can you get all blue Hella Clears? All blues for sale, and I thought it would look really good on white because there's nothing else on the car. There's no other colours on the car. But the problem with that is I feel like if I ran a blue heck blend it might be a bit too much blue on the back. But heck blend, we've already got the smoke top half, red bottoms, so this is pretty much going to be a straight chuck on job, and it should look pretty decent. The condition, it's not too bad. It's not awful. I mean, there's a couple of scratches here and there, but overall, £47, not too bad at all. It seems like Mark II heck blends are cheaper than Mark III's, which makes 0 sense. But let's chuck you here. So let's stick this on. So we won't put the reg on now, but just to kind of give you guys. That looks good. That looks very, very good. Oh yes. What do we think? Should we leave it like this, or should we go for all blues, but just kind of leave them with no heck blend? I'm thinking heck blend. That looks really good. Wow. There's no cracks or anything like that. It's just been used. It's just scratches and stuff on it. But to be honest, I'd rather buy a cheap one that's going to last, and I'm not going to feel too bad about putting it on a car, than buying a really expensive 300 quidder. And you know, I'm scared to leave it in a car park, so I'm afraid someone's going to rip it off. That's not too shabby, people. Do you remember when I dropped the heck blend for the convertible and I cracked it? Just kidding. That looks phenomenal. I think that's the look there. Let me see if I can get further back here. That's the look right there. That looks beautiful. Just enough red and black. Obviously it will look better when the reg is on the back. That looks beautiful. Wow, very happy with that. Just kind of give something to the back end. Just once. That badge sorting out. And then ideally, I mean, that could do with deleted and welding up. Same as that, because obviously if there's no rear wiper, we may as well. That is amazing. I feel like I've stolen it. But the Team Hecko ones, I've seen them up very cheap, so I think these were quite cheap to start with. But either way, I couldn't care less. That looks beautiful. So the next thing we want to stick on are these Corrado seats. Now these are for a customer, and I'm hoping I don't damage them in the time, but I want to create a little bit of content for you guys. These are the same platform as Mark II, so there shouldn't be any reason why they don't fit. I'm not going to be using these. I'm either going to be using the Mark III Recaros or the LXBs, I want to say, I think they're LXBs Recaros, but I just want to see how they fit and what the kind of the bolsters look like. Right, I don't want to spend too much time with these Corrado seats because I don't want to rip them and damage them because they're supposed to be going out tomorrow. But they look good. They look good. We have done black vinyl on the sides and then herringbone Harris tweed in the centres. The seat sits a lot lower. Obviously the Corrados sit low anyway, but they don't fit too bad. That is the concern I have when I'm fitting the LXB Recaros, the Astra GTs or the other style that I've got that are the same, is because although they're flat bases, I'm going to be buying the adapter kit online and I don't know where the seat sits in conjunction to the base. The Mark IIIs have height adjustment, so all I need to do is move the leg in. I think it's on one of the back ones, and then it will fit this seat rail. Then I can just trim to suit, and then if the seat doesn't sit right, I can just lower it down and I can, you know, give it some adjustment. But the other seats, I don't have that adjustment, so I'm just kind of weighing up my options. But if you guys let me know in the comments down below, what would you do? Would you put the Mark IIIs in, trim them up, or would you kind of stick with the older Recaros? The reason why I want to go with the older ones is if we look at the design, this design is more retro, so you can tell by it's quite a skinnier design seat. They're a bit more angular, whereas the Mark IIIs are just bulky and round to give it a more modern look. With that car, I want to go sort of late 80s 90s look. There are going to be some modern touches in it, but I don't want the general look to be modern. But I don't know, guys, what would you do? I think for logistical reasons the Mark IIIs need to go in because I've got the height adjustment, but these in my opinion look better, so I don't know what to do, people. But either way, those Corrado seats need to come out because I don't want to wreck them, and then we're going to carry on with some other bits. The next thing we're going to be fitting is the Lupo 3L steering wheel. I'm not fully clued up on Lupos, but what I believe the 3L was like a lightweight version of the already lightweight Lupo, and so it came with a load of lightweight parts, and this steering wheel is specific to the Lupo 3L. What we're going to do, whip the steering wheel off, and then just test fit that just to see how it looks. Do we need to make any modifications, and how are we going to get the horn to work, etc. First we're going to pull the horn button out. It just clips in. Unclip the two wires connected to the horn. Then remove the black plastic trim, exposing the 24mm nut. I just used a ratchet and socket. Before removing the steering wheel, I always make a mark just so I know where the steering wheel was. What do we think? I love it. I think the steering wheel is such a good design. The only problem we have is this lever just there. Now what that spring is supposed to do, that allows for a full circuit when it comes into contact with this gold ring. So as you're steering, obviously if you have a wire, it's obviously going to be twisting and turning. So we have that spring so it remains in contact with this ring at all times. At the other end of the ring, we've got two wires that come off it, one for the earth and I think one for the live, which obviously bolts into the horn. When the horn, this golden piece I believe comes into contact with this piece, so one of the wires I believe is bolted to this and then the other one is bolted to this. So when it completes a full circuit, obviously your horn works. Now I'm not going to be able to do it with this one. I did have, well I now don't have it, it's over there. I've got the Mark III clock spring, which is pretty much what that back piece is, except from you can't remove this. So what I was going to do was fit the Mark III clock spring to the back of this, which allows that golden spring to be in contact with the back of the clock spring, and then inside that you've got 2 wires that come off, and then hopefully we can make our airbag work. It's just as a test fit now, it just gives me an idea of, you know, what it's going to look like and can it work, and the answer is yes. Looks phenomenal in my opinion. It won't be staying like this. I'll probably retrim the wheel and then get the grey bits done in something else, because these actually can be removed on the back. So there's a bunch of screws that kind of go all the way around the steering wheel, and this whole section comes off, so I can get it hydro dipped, I can use it in carbon fibre, I can wrap it, but it probably wouldn't be very good to wrap in between that. So I could paint it. There's loads of stuff I can do, so I think that's what we're gonna do going forward. So I forgot to put the surround on, and it's kind of closed the gap. It looks a hell of a lot neater now, so yeah, beautiful. There is a crack just here, but I have got a hot stapler which I can get that repaired. I'll probably wrap this section anyway, just to kind of cover up the mess, maybe do it in tweed or something like that, whatever matches the seats. But yeah, beautiful. Really like the steering wheel. Let me know what you guys think. I still haven't drawn out plans for the interior yet, but when I do, I'm going to be kind of doing it all in loads of segments, because we've got the headliner and pillars to do, sunroof, and we've got the seats to do, dashboard to do, door cards, steering wheel, gear knob gaiter, handbrake gaiter, center console. We've got the carpets to do, the boot needs doing. There's a hell of a lot of stuff to trim, so can I do them in segments, and that's when I'll stick this wheel on. But for now, I'll stick the old one back on. Thought I'd fit one last part, which is the side repeater. So currently we have ambers at the minute, however at the front we've got clears. So obviously kind of have a mismatch, so I went ahead and bought some depot smoked ones, and I thought it'd look nice against the white. Is that it? Is that really all that holds it on? Ugh. Idiot, just put the flipping stand back. Beautiful. I wanted to give myself enough time to fully check over the car, check all the electrics, make sure the lights work, which, well, they should because it passed its MOT, but I want to check over everything else, make sure inside everything is working all okay. So everything on the front end works. The rear, I'm going to need a number plate light, which isn't an MOT failure as long as one of them's working out of the two. And then I think one of the fog lights is acting up, but I don't know if it's something with the switch, because when I click it once it don't light up, but it lights up when I click it last. So I don't know, it's the last one, the rears. It has been a very long time since I've messed around. So I'm pretty happy with that. I don't feel like I need to order anything right now, apart from a number plate light. Interior light, does that work? Oh. So that works. I don't believe the rear demister will work because it this one? I'm looking through the camera, I can't see it. Yeah, so that one, there's a tab just there. And that's what's supposed to have a connector on it. If you look on that side, it's got the wiring to it. So I think when I've had the tailgate, when I've just opened the tailgate, they've put the grommets in, but I don't think they've managed to put the wiring through. So that will need looking at some point. The fag lighter, does the fag lighter work? It'd be bloody brilliant if it does. Got this tyre inflator just to see if it works. Things work. I'm very surprised. Honestly, this car hasn't seen the road in almost 10 years. So I'm very, very surprised that things work. Does the interior dash light work? Very poorly, but yeah, it does. Wow, fair enough. I remember when I had my 8-valve GTI. Oh God, I just dropped my keys. When I had my 8-valve GTI, I'd removed all of the dash lights and replaced them with LEDs. I also did it on the switches as well. I'll see if I've got a picture to put up, but it just made them look like they were actually switched on. Unless it's absolutely pitch black outside, you're never going to know that these lights are on. You're not going to see that at all. The next step is the radio. Does the radio work? It seems a bit suspicious that it's actually been removed, but unless they had a fancy one in and they took it out before they sold it, we don't know. But we'll stick this in just to see if this works. There we go. Now I haven't got any cassette, so I'm never going to be able to get it to work, but as long as it turns on, that's a good sign. I don't need the speaker wires in. Oh, we've got lights. Oh, we've got lights. Can you even see that? Yeah, I'm sure you can see that. Whether it's faint or... yeah, there you go, you can see it. Yep, so we know that the wiring to the stereo should be okay, which is a good sign, because now I can get a radio ordered. What I didn't want to do is order a 100-odd quid stereo and then find out that the wiring is knackered. So that's a good sign. We'll leave that down there. That's pretty much everything in the interior checked. Everything's sort of working. Does the heaters work? It works! Do we have heat though? Everything works. Not too shabby, my friends. Not too shabby at all. Things work. It's very good. Right, on the back, I know there's a interior light somewhere, I think. No, they're in. No, I guess not. I thought there was one in the boot. Oh yeah, it's there. Oh, here. Yeah, that's not switching on. Well, but it's not plugged in, that's why. Where's the wiring to that? Oh, fair enough. Well, I'll have to figure all that out at some point. Let's have a look at this. We'll see what number plate light. I wonder if the wiring's even connected. Oh. Alright then. So it was probably just a loose connection. But now I know. hopefully you did enjoy these videos. If you did, give it a like and subscribe, and let me know if you're excited for the series. We did get quite a little bit done today. Lowered the car, put the seats in, test fitted the steering wheel, put the amber, put the smoked indicators on, went for a little drive. Was there anything else we did? Don't know. So productive day today. Like I say, next week we can get some more work done. When I get in, I'm going to start making a list of a couple of bits that I may need, like stereos and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm going to end the vlog here, guys. If you enjoy, give it a like, subscribe, and we'll see you next week for another upload.